Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John and this is what I've picked up in the month of April 2022. Now it's been a busy month this month. I've got a lot of stuff to get through, so I'll try and get through as quick as I can. So first up on DVD, on subscriber mail off Jeff Elusive Glue, I've got 13 Game of Death. Now this looks a very interesting movie from, I'm going to say Thailand, and I've had a look at it and it looks like it provides some really good action. Also, it's got a lot of action on a bus as well, which is what I'm all about when it gets to, I don't know why it is with these martial arts movies, they seem to always have like a good bit of action on things like that, like moving transport, and this looks quite interesting as well. So thanks once again to Jeff for sending me this. Also, Jeff sent me the incredible signatures of Chippy Hedren and also Malcolm McDowell from A Clockwork Orange, so wow, that's a great video. Actually, I'll leave the link to that video down below so you can check it out if you haven't seen it already. So thanks once again, Jeff. I really do appreciate that. So that's 13 Game of Death. So next on DVD, I got The Great Rock and Roll Swindle, the Sex Pistols movie. This is, it's a bit of a mess, this movie, I've got to say, but I really enjoy it. I've watched it countless times on VHS. I think I had a VHS, but I gave it away. And this one here was long overdue. I would love to get it on Blu-ray. I don't think the quality on Blu-ray would look much better than this looks, but this one here is a pretty good presentation actually. It's about as best as it's going to get, and it was reduced from maybe about 50 quid, someone was selling it, to £14.99, so I pounced on it immediately. This is also a Shout Factory DVD, believe it or not. So I will be watching that sometime when I get around to it. That's The Great Rock and Roll Swindle. So next up are the Blu-rays. First off is Training Day. This is a movie that I watched recently actually on the request of Movie Worm Jordan, so I'll put a link down to his channel down below. He told me that this movie was going to be absolutely exceptional, and it is. So big thanks to him for saying that. Otherwise I would have never went near this movie. I heard a lot of people talking about a lot of good things. The picture quality here looks quite good actually for the Blu-ray, but I'd love to get this on 4K. That's Training Day. Next is Suicide Squad. Yes, I know it's not the best of movies I've heard, although I haven't seen it yet. I got it just because it was only a quid, I think. And I thought, well, I may as well have a watch of it, because I do quite like these DC things. They're not brilliant, but they're very watchable, or the ones I've seen have been watchable. So I thought, well, it's got its extended cut, so I thought I'd give it a check out. So that's Suicide Squad. Next is Super. Now, this movie has always stood out to me, and I thought I want to check this out and see what it is. It's only £1 as well, and I thought, right, I've heard a lot of good things about this actually. The premise of the movie seems to be that this guy is a bit more of a vigilante, or he looks after people, and he thinks he sort of masquerades as a superhero, but he's not really a superhero. And I think he gets into like a real life drama with some people, as far as I can make out. And I've heard a lot of good things about this, and it stars some good people as well. So yeah, that's the one that I'm really interested in. That's Super. Next is Only Lovers Left Alive. Now what I've done is I've swapped this out to a black box so it can go with the rest of my Jim Jarmusch films, which are up there. I don't know why they're in black boxes, but they are. So I moved it because it was in a blue box when it came, so I moved it into a black box. I think it looks really nice actually as a black box. This is one of my favourite directors, Jim Jarmusch, and I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I think it's to do with vampires, although I haven't seen any part of it. I do think that this could offer quite a bit. It's got a good cast in here as well. And I do know when Jim Jarmusch makes a movie, I usually do like them and think they're a great sort of watch. So that's Only Lovers Left Alive. Next is Every Home Should Have One. This is a Marty Feldman starring vehicle, believe it or not. He starred in this movie from about 1970, I think it was. And yeah, I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was like a horror film, but I don't think it is. I think it's got a picture of him dressed as Dracula, more like Nosferatu. It must be, I think it's to do with publicity and sort of advertising as well. So interesting to see this one, interesting to see him as a starring actor in a movie. So that's Every Home Should Have One. Also an indicator, I got Rome Express. This stars the amazing Conrad Veidt, who was famous in silent cinema as the Man Who Laughs, or The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. He's a brilliant actor. Everything I've seen him in is excellent. So when I knew he was in this movie, it took us a bit to track it down. But when I saw it, I thought, right, I'll have to get this one. It's on my gigantic to watch list, but this movie, I always get a blast out of Conrad Veidt, and this is one of his talkie movies, so I'm interested to see how he sort of navigates a talkie movie. So that's Rome Express. These are on the Screenbound Black House label. So first of all, I got Shiver of the Vampires. These are all directed by Jean Rollin, who I know from Zombie Lake, which is an atrocious movie, but it's so bad it's great. So really put these on. They do look a bit grubby, but speckledy, with the print, but I don't mind that. So that's these are going to be ones I'm going to be very interested to watch. So that's Shiver of the Vampire, also The Grapes of Death, and Night of the Hunted, and Cold Eyes of Fear. Yeah, I'm really excited to check these ones out. I've been looking at these for quite a while, but at $10.99, $15.99, I couldn't take the risk in case they were awful. But I've heard a couple of people saying that they're not too bad, actually, they're quite watchable. So I'm interested to see these 4 movies. Next I got An Evening with Beverly Luff Linn. I've watched this movie, actually, and I've got to say this is one of the best movies I've seen recently. This is so funny. It's so weird, and it's so off the wall and kind of strange, but it's hilarious. It's got some amazing swearing in this movie. This person who's American thinks that another person here is Scottish, so she swears at him in Scottish. Her version of a Scottish accent says some really ridiculous stuff to him. What she calls him, but she can't say the words right. Oh, I tell you what, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. Obviously, it's that extreme I can't really show many people, but this movie is absolutely brilliant. So highly recommended if you want to see something that's a bit like Napoleon Dynamite, a bit like The Greasy Strangler. It was the same bloke who made this. Greasy Strangler made this. I highly recommend this. You'll get a right laugh out of it. That's An Evening with Beverly Luff Linn. And finally, on Blu-ray, I got on subscriber mail from Keith from Euphoria Pictures. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. I've got Death Sentence. Now this is kind of like Death Wish, I've heard, and I've heard a lot of people talk good things about it. Probably say that's one of Kevin Bacon's all-time greatest performances. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I've checked a little bit about it, and it looks like a great picture. So yes, when I put some time aside for it, it'll be one that's going very high up on the list. So thanks once again, Keith. I do appreciate this. And that's Death Sentence. Next up on 101 Films, the AGFA label, I've got God Monster of Indian Flats. This is a really old film, actually 1973, and it looks mad. This whole premise of this sort of like killer sheep is, well, incredible. You know, to think that you can watch a movie with a killer sheep in it. I don't know why it's called God Monster of Indian Flats, but I mean, what a title. So these are highly recommended. So I always watch these ones as quick as I can. Unfortunately, I haven't got round to them yet, but I will be getting round to them. So that was the latest one that's been released, is that one, and also Drug Stories, which I love that cover. Actually, it's very creepy in a sort of strange way. This is giving you sort of, it's like information films about why you shouldn't take drugs. I think these were shown to kids in schools in the 50s and 60s maybe. So yeah, so this is another one that's just an incredible sort of strange thing to have on as a film, but these things did exist, these sort of scare movies. So really excited to see those two. So that's Godmaster of Indian Flats and also Drug Stories. Next up is some Arrow Blu-rays with amazing slips, sort of. First up is The Last Matinee. As you can see, the Revenge of the CEX stickers is here. This was the last time I've ever used nail polish remover on them. It just took the ink off here. It was a disaster. Well, the CEX stickers are a disaster. I'll be moving quite firmly onto lighter fuel now. It sounds really aggressive, but it works. And wow, so yeah, so that's just it's just mutilated that slip, but the slip itself is a beautiful slip. I did think the movie looked quite good, because I've watched some of the movie, and it seems to be very much like a homage to Giallo and also Demons, the movie. I came across like that flavour. It's a brand new movie as well, so but it's a shame about this. It's like nice movies seem about the slip. So that's The Last Matinee. Next is The Brotherhood of Satan. This is another one that I saw. These are all in the sale I got. These are ones that I pounce on when I see them in the sale, but I don't know if I'd pay full price for them because I don't know anything about them. They're $17.99. They're a bit of a sort of an expensive gamble. And these, as you know, everyone knows, Arrow can deliver the best movie or they can deliver the worst movie, but they've got the best picture on it. So it's a bit of a, it's misleading as well. Sometimes you can get a cover that you can sort of more or less see it's going to be an awful film. But sometimes they might put a sort of slip on it and make it look tremendous, and it might not live up to any expectations. But I am quite interested to see these ones I picked up. So that's The Brotherhood of Satan. Also, Dinner in America. This one, I've always had my eye on this one. It's always been $7.99. It's never ever come down in price until now. And it's another one of these movies. I'm hoping it's a bit more like Beverly Luff Linn. It's going to be that type of movie where it's just a bit odd but funny, and I just like these type of movies. I can really watch these off-kilter movies that really tick a big box for me. And this one, when I've looked at it, it looks like really interesting as well. So that's Dinner in America. And lastly, in the Arrow Blu-rays, I got Lake Michigan Monster. This one here looks ultra low budget, and it's a brand new film as well. But it's black and white. The picture quality on it was ultra strange. Actually, it looked very grainy, but I need to put it on my new TV and put it through its paces. I think it was probably just the setting on it showed up this like really bad effects. I think more than anything else, a bad CGI. But it's another one that I thought I'd just like the look of it. I like the title. I just wanted to see what it was all about. And for it in the sale, this is when I usually check out these movies where I'm a little bit interested in, but don't want to spend big bucks on them. Certainly not $17.99 for a movie that, put it this way, when I looked at it, I thought this isn't worth $17.99. If I'd watched it at that price, I would have felt ripped off, no matter how good the movie is. So that's Lake Michigan Monster. Funny enough, I only got one pickup from 88 this month, and it is Zeda, or Zeda. This is spine number 70 in the Italian Classics collection. One of my favourite, well, probably is my favourite range of movies. This one looks like a zombie movie. Don't know anything about it apart from the fact it's got a great other alternative title, Revenge of the Dead. I think that sounds much better than Zeda. I think the character is Zeda, I think. But this film's about 1983. And I just, I always get these ones anyway, and this one seems to be quite interesting actually on what I've seen of it. Obviously it's got like all the stuff inside. It's a brilliant hard box version as well, so these tick big boxes for me. I do like the way that they're going with these like limited edition ones, and the best thing about 88 I find is that they will put this out on a limited version, which is here. Now if you don't want to go for that, they will put it out on a limited run with a slipcover. That's kind of like the next one down, and then if you snooze you lose, it just goes down to the regular disc, which would be that. So you've always got your choice, or the time if you wanted to get something at the sensible price. I think when it comes out the slip, it's £15. When it comes out less than, well, when the slip goes, it might go in a sale, so you can get it for about £7. So I think I wish Arrow would do more of that, and it gives you more chance to get like the one that you want to get, rather than compromising by getting one that just doesn't fit in with the rest of them, which you'll see in a little bit later down in the 4Ks. So that's an interesting movie, and can't wait to see it actually. That's Zeda, or Zeda. So next in the 2 for £24 sale in HMV, I've got Jungle Cruise. This one looks absolutely spectacular on 4K. It's one of those ones that just jumps off the screen. The colours in it just look sensational. The movie itself is quite fun. It's just one of those movies where you just put it on, just have a good time with. I mean, my wife went to see this at the cinema. We really enjoyed it. So highly recommend it on 4K if you want something for good colours. That's Jungle Cruise. The other movie in the 2 for £24 sale was Le Mans 66. This one is got some great sound on here. The audio on here is just absolutely incredible. And the picture quality is very nice as well. It's got a really big feel of it's got that sort of 60s Technicolor about it to me, and it comes across like a real 60s movie. If you were to see a movie that was a Technicolor movie in the 60s, if that makes any sense. But I think they've nailed that if they have tried to do that, and it does look really spectacular on 4K. So that's Le Mans 66. Next is John Wick 3. This is my favourite movie in the John Wick series actually. I think it's, I don't know why, I just think this movie's just got everything for me. I think it's ultra gory, it's ultra violent, it's ultra action packed personally. I think they're all great, don't get us wrong. Can't wait for the 4th one to come out. But this has got a really nice slipcover. And it looks sensational on 4K as well. It's got these colours sort of run through the movie as well. So highly recommended if you can get it. I got it for £10 in CEX with a slip, and then he fell over when I saw that with a slip. And I also used my lighter fluid technique so to get the stuff off, so that did work. So I'll be using that from now on. Well, hopefully that CX will get rid of that whole sticky label anyway. It's taken them long enough. So yes, so that's John Wick 3. I also picked up a long overdue title in my collection on 4K. It is the Lord of the Rings Trilogy. Big fan of these movies. Me and Deborah have watched these a lot of times. I haven't watched them for a bit because I knew this 4K was coming out. I've heard mixed reports about the 4K. I've heard there's a bit of DNR involved. And to be honest, on some of the scenes I can see the faces did look a bit smooth, but the colours on here look unreal. So I want to watch these movies all the way through just to see my full opinions on them. So in essence, I thought they looked really nice, and can't wait to go and see these again because I have not seen these for quite a while actually. I don't think I'll get The Hobbit on 4K. I don't think I'm that much of a fan of the Hobbit movies. I think they are far too long. The film itself should have just been either one big film or it should have been two shorter movies. It should never have been a trilogy, personally. But these movies here are absolutely exceptional. I also watched the extended versions, never watched the shorter ones. I mean, why would you? So that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Next up on subscriber mail, I got this fantastic gift from Paul, aka the 4K Chef. It is the Alfred Hitchcock Classics Collection, Volume 1. Wow, that's all I can say. Just wow. When I opened this, I imagine people who saw that video just couldn't believe. I couldn't believe what I was actually getting. I've checked these movies out. I haven't watched them yet. I do want to watch them with Deborah, but I don't think I'm going to get the time. So I think I'm going to have to start watching these myself. I think the first one I'm going to go for is going to be Vertigo, actually, because I think that looked the best. I just want to see how good these movies can be in 4K. They all look good, if I'm honest. Psycho, with being black and white, the only black and white one in here, does look the blacks and the whites. You can really tell the difference. And this has got the extended version of Psycho in. It's got some extra gore that was cut out. So yes, I just can't thank Paul enough for sending me this. It's the American version as well. So that means it's got this booklet in, the sort of box booklet, which isn't in the UK one, believe it or not. So that's another one where I just thought, wow, I can't believe the fact that this set is incredible. And I can't wait to actually see more stuff with Alfred Hitchcock on 4K, because I'm sure he's getting some stuff out. It's coming up quite soon, so the more the merrier. I think obviously there'll be more box sets down the line for Alfred Hitchcock. So yeah, so excellent, and I can't thank Paul enough. So thanks once again, mate. I really do appreciate that. And that's a stunning collection. That's the Alfred Hitchcock collection. Next up are the Arrow 4Ks. So in the sale I got for £15, True Romance without a slip. So I'm making a video actually to talk about slipcovers in general. So that'll be coming out soon, hopefully next week. But yeah, so why can't I put a slipcover on? But anyway, we'll talk about that more in a different video. But this one looks absolutely spectacular. I knew it would. I just held off because I thought I'd get it with like a regular one with a slip. Of course, I know that doesn't happen now, so I do tend to go more for the when they come out with a special edition, and I've got them, and then I know they can go on the shelves, and I've got every faith in them looking quite good. So that's True Romance. Also, I got Tremors, which looks absolutely stunning. It's one of the best 4Ks I've ever seen. I knew it was going to look good, but I didn't think it was going to look this good. Highly, highly recommend. I mean, the movie's a brilliant movie as well, but this one here is just it's like nothing you've ever seen before. It's one of the best 4Ks I've seen of a sort of 80s movie, but highly recommend it. It's out in the desert. It just looks great. Everything you can imagine about it is the colours, the vibrancy. It's just amazing. So that's Tremors. And lastly, I got in the sale Dune. Now, Dune has always been a funny movie for me because it's a David Lynch movie. I love David Lynch, but it's always been my least favourite David Lynch movie. I thought, well, it's there. I'm going to go and see it because I have got it on Blu Ray, but I'll get the 4K. The 4K is much better than Blu Ray. This is actually a really nice looking 4K. Obviously, the practical effects, the optical effects aren't that great. They do sort of take the quality down a bit, but I can look past that. And I do know that I do want to watch this movie, but I'm kind of sitting on the fence. Do I want to watch it before I see the other part of Dune? If they do Dune as a trilogy, the new Dune movies, I will watch this one. So I want to get a bit of a heads up to know what's happening with the next one. Is it the second part and they're done? I'm not too sure about that. But I do want to watch this one and give it my final sort of evaluation of whether or not I like it or not. So that's Dune. So on the special edition 4Ks, I got The Hills of Eyes. This was going to be a one that I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to upgrade it to 4K. It's not going to look any better. So to be honest, though, it does look better. I've got to say, in my opinion, that the first half of the movie doesn't look that great. It looks quite grainy, and it's a bit off-putting, to be honest. But when the sort of sun sets on the movie, that's when this movie comes alive for me in 4K. I think it looks a lot better in that way than it does when you're watching the lighter scenes, personally speaking. It's got a good soundtrack on here. I think it's a Dolby Atmos sound on here, believe it or not. Although I wouldn't say the Dolby Atmos soundtrack is like stunning, but it's got a nice soundtrack on here. You know, the music on here is quite good. And to be honest, when I watched this movie, I had a much better time with it than I thought it was going to do. And this movie is a lot more brutal than I thought. I mean, it's not too brutal. It's more, it implies more than anything else. But yeah, it's a great movie actually, and I will watch The Hills of Eyes Part 2, but I know it's nowhere near as good as this. So that's The Hills of Eyes. And lastly, I got RoboCop on special edition. Now I've been holding out on this on Blu-ray for a long time. I had my hand a few times walking around the shop for 15 quid, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. I knew it would have a 4K coming out, and here it is, it came out. So I've got this set for the first time, and it's a spectacular set. Now I thought this movie would look, satisfactory on 4K, but when I watched it, I had such a good time with it. It starts off by being a little bit sort of grainy, a little bit, the quality's not that great, and then it sort of kicks in, and there's some of the scenes in here are so detailed and so vibrant, it's unreal actually. Never thought this would look this good. So this, for 4K, stick with the first sort of opening 10-15 minutes and know that you're in for something spectacular down the road on this one. I did watch the director's cut. I would never watch the other cut. Why would you? It's got less go in it. So yeah, so this is highly recommended, and I've got to say that if anyone's sitting on the fence to get this, try and get it as cheap as you can, obviously. But this is a worthy upgrade in 4K. So this has been a big month for me. Really happy to get all this stuff. Now the hard part is getting around to watching it. Although I started cracking on with these 4Ks, definitely going to watch some of that box set, the Hitchcock box set this month, and maybe even Lord of the Rings. Touch wood. Okay, so thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.
It's good.